Hello and welcome to Nikolai's genetics lessons, and today's video going to be probably longer than usual, but in this video I'm going to cover probably 80% of all probability questions that you may find on your exam. And here's a question. Question A: what is the probability that the children will have the following phenotypes in order stated? And the order is first child normal, then second child also normal, third child albino, fourth child albino, and fifth child also albino. First of all, we know that both parents are heterozygous, so one parent is heterozygous and second parent is also heterozygous. So for two heterozygous people, by the way, the phenotype would be normal, but as for the children, as you see, 3/4 are also going to have normal phenotype and 1/4 would be affected. So 1/4 would be affected and 3/4 would have normal phenotype. So now let's find probability that the first child would be, let's take a look at our question, that the first child would be normal. And basically the sequence is following. So first child normal, second child is also normal, and third child is albino. So albino, A for albino, then fourth child also albino, and the last child also albino. And as you see, for the first child to be normal, the probability would be 3/4. So let's put this number here. 3/4 is probability that the first child would be phenotypically normal. And the second child, probability that second child would be also phenotypically normal would be also 3/4. And for the third child to be affected, probability would be 1/4. 1/4 for the fourth child and 1/4 for the fifth child. And now, because this is independent probabilities, we just have to multiply all these independent probabilities in order to find probabilities that these events would happen in this sequence. So this is example how we do calculations when events are ordered, so have certain order. We just have to use probability for each event to happen, and then we have to multiply all these independent probabilities. So what is going to be an answer for the first question? We have to multiply 3 by 3, and this is going to be 9. We have to multiply by 1, and this is going to be the same number. So 9 over 4 multiplied by 4 would be 16. 16 multiplied by 4 would be 64. And 64 multiplied by 4 would be 256. And multiplied by 4 would be 1024. So this is going to be our answer for the first question. Probability that the first child would be phenotypically normal, second child would be phenotypically normal, and then 3 affected children in a row would be 9 out of 1024. If we need an answer in percentage form, we have to divide 9 by 1024 and multiply by 100, and this is going to be an answer in percentage form. So question B: what is the probability that of 5 children 2 will be normal and 3 albino in any order? So what is important here, that order here is any. Basically, this question is similar to this question, but here order is given. Now we have to solve the same problem when order is not given. So we may have different variants. For example, when first child would be affected, then second child would be normal, and so on. So many different variants exist, and let's find how many different variants exist. For example, uh, let's say that first child would be normal, second child would be normal, and then we would have 3 affected children in a row. This is the first variant. Second variant would be when first child normal, then affected child normal, and then affected. Next variant would be normal, affected, normal, and affected. And next variant would be normal, affected, and normal. So you see the pattern. First I'm using 2 normal phenotypes, and then I move this one place to the right. So now I can list all the variants without missing any variant. And as you see, when I came here to the end, now I start move this first one place to the right, and I return this one, so these 2 would be next to each other. So what I mean, that next variant would be affected, and then normal, and 2 affected. So 5 children. Now, as you see, we start with second position. So next variant would be affected, normal, affected, normal, affected. And next variant would be affected, normal, affected, and normal. So now we reach the end of this sequence, and once again we move this normal to the third position. So now we would have affected, normal, and affected. Next variant would be affected, normal, affected, and normal. Now we list all the variants where normal would take a third position, and we move second one to the right side. So only 2 such variants are possible, and the last variant would be affected, and normal, So now we list all the possible variants. One family may have 2 normal children and 3 children affected. And we already know that probability of such sequence would be 9 out of 1024. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 such variants. So if we know that probability when 2 children would be normal and 3 would have affected phenotype would be 9 out of 1024, no matter if the sequence or order of these events would be different, still we would have the same number. If we move the 3 quarters here and put 1 quarter, for example, here, it doesn't affect our probability. So all these variants would have the same probability. So we have to multiply 9 over 1024 by 10. And our answer would be 90 out of 1024. Once again, let's return to our question. This was question B. What is the probability that out of 5 children, 2 would be normal and 3 would be albino in any order? So as you see, if first variant gave us 9 out of 1024, second variant gave us 10 different variants how this may happen, so the answer would be 90 out of 1024. Once again, if you need an answer in percentage form, you have to divide 90 by 1024 and multiply by 100. And question C, what is the probability that all 5 will be normal? And this is probably the easiest question. So probability that this couple would have a normal child would be 3/4. So basically we are looking for the probability that couple would have all 5 children that is going to be phenotypically normal. And probability would be 3/4, 3/4 here, 3/4 here, 3/4 here, and 3/4 here. So once again, we have to multiply all these independent probabilities, and we are going to get 3 multiplied by 3 would be 9, multiplied by 3 would be 27, multiplied by 3 would be 81, and multiplied by 3 would be 243. And divided by 1024. We already know this number when we multiply 4 by itself 5 times. So this is going to be 1024. So this is going to be an answer for the third question. Question C, what is the probability that all 5 will be normal? And the last question, what is the probability that at least one child will be albino? And this is probably easiest question. We already have found probability that all 5 children would be phenotypically normal, and all the rest variants would have at least one child that is going to be albino. This is the only variant when family would have 5 children and none of them would be affected. So basically we have to subtract from 1024 divided by 1024 that represent all the variants possible, this probability. So minus 243 divided by 1024, and the answer going to be 781 over 1024. So once again, this number, this frequency represents all the variants except this variant, and all the rest variants combined would represent this number, and at least would include one affected child out of 5. It can be 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is combined number of all these variants except this variant. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Please write your comments, questions if you have any. Share this video with your classmates, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.